Let me ask you this question. It has nothing to do with football. Name a cooler-looking redhead American male than Andy Dalton. Your kid comes out with red hair. You're thinking he's going to look like Ed Sheeran. He looks like Andy Dalton. He's the coolest-looking fucking guy with red hair in America. Like,
I don't know a lot of redheads.
Okay, so kudos to his barber, and because this guy looks so cool out there, and it's also the typical glow up of a guy that was drafted in the late aughts, where nobody looked cool. We all look stupid, like we all just look fucking stupid walking across the stage, bad haircuts, the whole thing. He's glowing up, and honestly, he looked pretty damn comfortable in Dave Canales' offense. And that does not negate what people were saying about Bryce Young. Here's the problem with the Bryce Young thing. I got no problem with him sitting the entire season if that's what it's going to be. But do that 2 weeks ago, because the delta between the player of your team with Bryce and Andy, you could have spared Bryce the embarrassment of running out there for 2 weeks. Like, aren't you playing the long game with your draft pick? I would have, if this is what Andy was going to look like, said, hey, Bryce, let's give you a mulligan. Let's give you a red shirt. Let's give you some time. Instead of throwing him out there and looking like he looked the first 2 weeks, doesn't that say, you knew how bad he was going to look? There's no way he looked good in camp and then looked like that the first 2 weeks. Dalton looked pretty good.
Looked great.
And so credit to this team, because a lot of people, and I don't want to be misunderstood when I say this, I bet this team. So I don't think they're trash. But I think it's been a trash kind of process where it's like, Tepper is constantly cycling through coaches. Hopefully he found a good one here in Canales. But maybe you could have handled the Bryce situation a little bit differently, and we'd be doing this week 1, where we'd be saying, hey, you guys look pretty good.
It's weird to think about it, but I feel like the Panthers are this year's Raiders. Well, whereas Raiders last year, when they finally fired their coach, it was like a new, fresh breath of air. You have the same cast, same people in the building, but the product on the field is different. Whether guys are playing harder, a little harder, and that's what it looks like with Carolina yesterday.
It's a veteran.
Because you put Andy Dalton in there, and you see all those pieces. Deontay Johnson, his numbers. If you look at his numbers for the past 2 weeks, I think he might have surpassed that in the game yesterday.
Yeah.
You got guys that you never heard of. Tremble catching the tight end.
Tommy Tremble
catching passes, and Chuba Hubbard.
Hubbard,
who won me a first touchdown.
I heard
first
that
touchdown
happen.
bet. It's just guys that that are good, that they have in the building. It's good to see that Andy Dalton stepping in and kind of showing everybody, fans and everyone there, hey, guys, we actually have a chance. We can play with everyone in the league.
No question. Imagine starting this way 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just I do still feel for Bryce, because I feel for guys that end up in fucked up situations. And last year was terrible. Training camp shorter now. You don't have as much time to learn a new offense. It's obvious to me he wasn't ready.
But is it that bad to be a backup quarterback?
Who?
Bryce.
No.
Feeling bad for him. Is it that
no,
bad?
No. What I'm not
better.
You're not hearing me. I'm saying the only thing I feel bad for him for is why did they force him out there? Now we're getting pictures of him hugging his dad before the game, and it looks like he's all distraught. And his girlfriend, who he walked to camp with every day, is hanging out with Tyrese Maxey. And it's just he's the main character. It's the most mental position in the NFL. If you had any hope of him being a good quarterback for you down the line, maybe you just start with the vet and do the thing that other people are wisely doing. The thing in New England, every time Jacoby gets hit, I'm please get up, because not only he's my friend, but I want to see Drake May. I want to see any rookie quarterback sit, because I think there's a lot of credence to sitting guys. And he's not a rookie, but I would have started all over if that's how bad he was going to look. And this is what you get out of Andy Dalton. Maybe they're surprised. But I think it's good for this team, because nobody wants to lose a bunch of games in the NFL. I've been on teams like that where you're 1-15, 2-14. To go out on the road and get this done, come together a week after, you're the main characters, not in a good way. Kudos to these guys, man, because I'm looking at Jadeveon Clowney and people like that. You took the bag to go to Carolina. These vets, they want to win. Adam Thielen, you don't want to be out there doing cardio. It's not fun.